your first reaction, Reed Sheppard.
It's fine. You know, it's fine. I like it.
Actually, I was kind of relieved because that whole, no one else substantiated Wendy's report that Alpe was on the block. That if they drafted Klingon, that Alpe would be going to Phoenix.
Well,
no one else.
He said keep your eye on it. He didn't say he was gone.
But
right.
he just that could have just come out of the air.
Dell tried to substantiate it.
Oh, I know.
Dell made it a bigger deal than it actually was. That's why we feel like it was a huge deal, and no one else in the country thought it was a big deal.
Well,
you can't blame me for your emotional state. I just gave you a report.
Constantly coming after Alpe.
Well, no, and no one else, and we hadn't heard that anywhere else. And I think the Rockets were probably like, "Hey, what the hell? Who said this?" And you know what? If I'm Alpe today, I'm going, "Really? You guys? Am I really out there?" And if I'm the Rockets, I'm calling them and saying, "No, that's a report that's got nothing."
They probably already have.
I would imagine. I would hope so. Yeah. I would hope so.
Yeah, it was the dumbest thing. Like, I can't even imagine doing something like that. I can't even imagine moving Alperen Şengün for Kevin Durant. It would just be so. It would be just so dumb. I get Durant's a better player than him, but what is this? What are the Rockets on? This is their last chance at a championship over the next 2 years. Like, that's what the Chris Paul move is. With the Rockets team that's right there ready to go. This Rockets team is not ready to be. They were not the Harden and Tucker and Aaron and Eric Gordon team. We're not anywhere close to that yet. We're right on the verge of a championship. And you need somebody to get over the hump, and so you give a contract that's problematic potentially to an older breaking down player. It's not anything like that. So yeah, Reed Sheppard. I was going to be fine with Sheppard or Klingon. The problem, I think Sheppard is not going to play a whole lot this year, is my guess. You've got a glut already over there, but what he does well, he's a tremendous shooter, which you need. I don't know that he's going to, his size is a concern. I mean, he's very small. And so for a shooting guard, so I think you want to, you'd love it if he could handle the ball a little more and set the offense up a little more.
Well, his numbers are stupid. Well, I've seen multiple guys say Reed Sheppard was the top of my board in this draft.
Reed Sheppard is a real shooter.
My God.
We're talking about Klay Thompson caliber shooter.
Yes.
Which is amazing to be able to get your hands on that. And frankly, when you look at how teams are built, we'd love to build like that Golden State team that was homegrown and came out of nowhere, was kind of all of a sudden jumped up and then had a long sustained run. That's what you love for the Rockets. And so maybe we got our own Klay Thompson. The difference is he's way smaller than Klay. So that's the only difference is the
6'2.5". I mean,
187.
Yeah.
That's small.
Yeah, but he held up. I mean, he held up in the SEC, and
we'll see how he does in the NBA because it's a lot bigger and longer
his defensive rating is actually not bad. It's actually not bad. He's smart. He's quick, and he's got good hands. So we'll see.
He's a good basketball player. You know what was fun to hear? The analysts like Bob Myers talking about, it was pretty much universally very positive about Reed Sheppard. And one of the things they said is if this guy is 6'4", 6'5", no one's even like, there's no question about who he's going to be. He's not. But Steph Curry came in as a shooting kind of two. He didn't, people forget it. At Davidson, he was not really a full-time one. And there were questions about if he could be a one in the league. And then what he became was, he's just a lead guard. He's a lead guard, which is a scoring guard who can, like Allen Iverson, who can get, well, Allen eventually became a two with Eric Snow. Well, there's an example of two small guys and who played in the same backcourt, but even though that was about 20 years ago, but still, Allen Iverson, Steph Curry was an excellent shooter who was slender, who was not big, who was not considered a one, and he figured it out. And good basketball players can figure it out.
So you're predicting multiple championships here.
Best shooter of all time.
But and the best shooter of all time.
I called him Klay. He's more like a Klay.
Well, Clay's one of the top ever, one of the best ever too.
He's
one of the great shooters. Yeah, and I think that he has a chance to be one of the really, really good shooters in the league. Yeah. I really do. Everything's so pure about his form. He's got real NBA range. If he's open, he's going to make it. There's a lot of good things to take from this. Once again, I think this is because of their construct, and they've even said this too. There's not a lot of room for guys to step in and start playing right away because of how many good players they have on the roster, which is a good problem now. So I don't know that he's going to be a major factor this year, but you're not building for just this year. And what it's going to do now is light a fire under Cam Whitmore, Jalen Green. Those guys, hey, got to defend now. We got to play all aspects of the game. We can't just do this, can't just do that. So I like it. I would have been fine with Klingon too, because I think Klingon would have
made me a little nervous if that
potential trade
that he was right.
Yeah,
about that. Wendy was right.
I asked my sons, two of my sons and their friend Julius. They all went to the Rocket Watch Party, and we're going to have Brado from Brado and Will, who is they've got a podcast here in Houston, big Rockets guys, and he'll come on at 7:30. We'll talk about it. He was at the Rockets Watch Party, but Mason and Alec both went to the watch party, and I said, "What was it like?" And they said everyone was really excited about Reed Sheppard. Like no negativity. I mean, he's one of the only guys people knew out of the top 7 picks.
Right.
It's all these French guys who people have never seen.
Right. Well, Rafael Stone says, and you know what? Here's the deal. I really trust our GMs now. I really do. I mean, what Nick Caserio has done and the talent that he's found. He found Nico in the 3rd round. He's a 1. I mean, it looks like hopefully that he's going to be right with Stingley. I mean, he has done a hell of a job. Rafael Stone has done a hell of a job. Taking Alpe, taking Tari Eason later in the 1st round. Those are huge hits. And then Amen with the 4th overall pick. Listen, they tried to convince me that they loved Amen second in the entire draft. And I was like, okay, whatever. You got, he fell to you at 4, whatever. Amen looks like a real player, and Amen's got a huge upside.
Amen is a
they love Reed Sheppard. Here's Rafael Stone talking about why he took Sheppard over Klingon.
Yeah, we had Sheppard very, very high. So I think lots of players, including Donovan, were going to be very successful. But yeah, I mean, our evaluation was that Reed was, Reed has a very special skill set that gives him a chance. It's definitely not certainty, but gives him a chance to be special in the NBA in a way we thought was unique in this draft.
And look, one complaint we've had even since the Morey days, where Daryl was the king of math, who really implemented the style of spread it out, let James operate. He's a very good PER player with his efficiency. They shot a lot of threes. They made threes too, but not at a great rate. They never really had that. Eric Gordon was as close as they came to a sharpshooter. This is something you and I have been talking about for at least a decade. At least a decade. Get a shooter, and this is as good as it gets. And remember now, we see this all the time in football, but in basketball, I have to remind myself it's the same thing. Everyone's board is going to be different where players are ranked relative to their needs and their styles of play. And so the Rockets, I love Stephon Castle. I love Castle. I think he's really a tough player. I think he's a winner. I love him, but he doesn't fit what the Rockets need. I would have considered him at 3 if the Rockets needed that position, but they got a bunch of guys there.
It's so fun. The Spurs kind of intrigued me a little bit, but giving up, they had 3 and 8, and they gave up 8 for a 30 and a 31 for 2 draft picks, 30 and 31. I mean, I get it that you're looking at the future. I guess you don't want to have a couple of young guys with Wemby. I guess you don't. But to just waste that pick the way that I thought it was just a huge waste by them. Pop, you're not going to be around in 30-31. I understand you want to leave the organization well. Who knows what Minnesota's going to be like in 30 or 31. So to give up Dillingham like that, who's got a chance to be a decent player, or you could have gotten Klingon to back him up. I mean, Wemby and Klingon together, there were a lot of things that they could have done, and instead they got a 30 and a 31 draft pick. I thought, what a waste. Reed Sheppard, what did you think? What about his style? What about how he his flair?
What do you mean?
Last night, I mean, Reed Sheppard's
flair.
It was
a nice jack. I mean, yeah, it was just a suit. It was kind of an army green suit, a little bit, kind of a more muted army green suit.
Yeah.
Why? What kind of flair?
Well,
it was pretty standard by NBA fare.
Well, I don't think standard. I think, I don't. It wasn't.
What are you looking for exactly? Say what you need to say.
Del, everybody was looking at his look, at Reed Sheppard's look. What did you think of it?
I thought, much like our friend Art said, did he just graduate from Episcopal? What
was wrong with it?
I don't care. Nothing. It's just what it is. I didn't have a thought about it. But
you didn't?
No, he just looked like a guy.
Well, Art's saying that because he's a white guy.
He just looked like a guy in a suit. I don't know what to think of it.
No, he's saying Episcopal because he's just a white guy at the draft, and he looks plain.
He is
People
plain.
are making fun of his parents for having country accents because they're Kentucky. They also have championships. So.
Yeah.
You watch your mouth. We got championships in the city now.
It just wasn't your usual NBA flair.
Well, you don't normally take
No, but he had a green, it wasn't a blue. He didn't have a blazer and some khakis.
No, you don't normally take a white American player at 3. When's the last time we took someone?
Yeah, you don't see that.
American
You may
player
see an international
drafted
player.
that high.
Okay, let's look.
When's the last time a white American got drafted that high?
White American
Larry
in
Bird.
the top 3. Not Larry Bird. Maybe.
Kevin Love was top 5. When's the last time a white American was drafted that high?
Last white American?
And you had 2 in the top 10 with Klingon.
Oh, it's huge.
Okay, this is
the whites are really making a move right now.
So,
the French and the whites.
So what you got was
dubs for the white.
What you got was a white American baller from the South.
Right.
That's what they dressed like, I guess. I don't know what to think of his suit. I didn't think of it at all.
He had a little green. He had a little green suit.
No, I know. I just thought
that was pizzazz for him.
That's what I thought. Maybe that's a little pizzazzy for him.
No, I think so. Yeah, but it wasn't anything. Yeah, it's going to take a while. Like Luka, we're not counting him, and this shows you.
Well, he's not white American.
That's
he's
what
Slovenian.
I'm saying. We've had issues with John.
No. That's incorrect. I never said he was white American. I said he was white. He's white.
Yeah, he's white, but he's not. Yeah, he's international. Okay, do you think he's a white guy? You say, white guy got drafted.
He's a white guy.
Everyone thinks
you would say he's an international player.
Everyone says that. Yeah.
You would say he's an international player.
Yeah,
that's what they said on the broadcast all day yesterday. International.
You guys have been
the Rockets are breaking barriers.
Remember?
They are.
Hey, we've done this before. Don't act like you don't remember when Bryce Drew got drafted. Remember the great Bryce Drew when he was our pick?
Yeah.
He wasn't top 5, though.
Did he wear a turtleneck?
He was a white shooting guard.
How'd that work
There was
out?
a little undersized. Not as great as you wanted it to.
A little undersized.
It didn't work out as great as you wanted it to.
No,
I'm not. And I'm not. I've compared him to Gen Z Rex Chapman just because it's funny to do that.
It's going to take a while to find a white American player in the top 30. I don't have time this segment.
Yeah.
That's the scary thing.
What?
Rex Chapman, Kyle Macy.
What guys from the 70s and 80s?
Well, that's all right. No, we're sharpshooters, right? And this is what he is.
Well, also,
he's a sharpshooter that it's going to be hard to make it at his size, is what you said. And you know what? It is
the size is the only thing that concerns me.
Well, if he's
Kyle Macy was smaller.
If he can transition to point guard, then you have a better bet. I heard some people think he may be a Mark Price type. That makes you feel better. Mark Price was a point guard, so if he can do that,
shooter.
Mark Price is tremendous. Now, better. Mark was also
and he's got good.
Tremendous pace. Like Mark was a really underrated, to this day, one of the more underrated point guards that ever played.
Yes.
Mark Price is a killer.
And Reed Sheppard talked about learning the point guard. He can't wait to get. Now, how about Jalen was there, and Jalen came up and hugged him right away and said, welcome to the team and all that. That was really cool. But he says he can't wait to play with Fred VanVleet.
Thing is just going in and learning. You have guys like Fred VanVleet that I'll be able to learn from. And just going in with an open mind, ready to learn, ready to do whatever it takes to win, and just compete. Just go in, have fun, and continue to get in the gym and work on everything that I need to work on. And I'm super excited. I can't wait to get to Houston and get the thing started.
Number one, he doesn't have a big Kentucky accent. I'm assuming he's from Kentucky because his parents both played college basketball at Kentucky. Did he call him Fred VanVleet?
He'll learn.
Fleet.
Yeah, we just got to make sure he gets that.
Ooh, Jimmer Fredette. No, shut your face.
Was he top 5?
No.
But he was a white American drafted the top 10.
Well, Larry Stafford threw that out there. I said, hey, We don't do this with black quarterbacks. Don't do this with white shooting guards, okay? Now, Jimmer had some lift, too. The one thing that really stands out with Reed is, like, when you start putting Kyle Macy on him, the guy is a 42-inch vert.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an athlete.